I like strategy RPGs, with Fire Emblem being the series that got me more interested in the genre. Sadly, there aren't a lot of games out there that can scratch the SRPG itch I have quite as well as the Fire Emblem games. Fortunately, there are some, and recently I found another one with Vandal Hearts, an SRPG for the PS1 that has a bit of a cult following, but was never as well known or highly praised as some other games for the PS1. Which is a shame because it's a really solid game. It has an isometric perspective similar to the Final Fantasy Tactics games, which wasn't a good sign for me at first, but there are a few key differences. First of all, you can rotate the camera around to get a better look at the situation. And secondly, it has the Fire Emblem system where you move all of your units once per turn, and then the enemy moves all their units once per turn. This feels much more organic and natural than the system found in other SRPGs, where you move one unit at a time, and planning ahead is much more difficult. The main character is a man named Ash Lambert, a soldier who is part of the defense force for the recently formed democracy of Ishtaria. But while he's on an investigation, corruption, sinister plots, and remnants of the war that occurred 15 years before the game take their toll on the struggling nation. And Ash must figure out what the right thing is to do and try to make it to the end of the unfolding war with his honor and his friends intact. The story is well told and fairly elaborate without becoming too complicated. I like how it acknowledges the shades of grey, the fact that no war is a good war, and that everyone, even people we would consider villains, have reasons for what they're doing. Sure, some of the bad guys are just one-dimensional assholes, but some of them are more complex, and their motives are sometimes relatable. The game finds a way to make each character have a distinct look and personality, and organically allows for a lot of character moments and character development to occur as the story unfolds. Also, most of the characters have an active role in the story, and aren't just mindless soldiers following Ash wherever he goes. Another thing I like is how the game handles its game overs. Fire Emblem is famous for its permadeath system, and as much as that system has its merits, as it really makes you think carefully about each move and the consequences of your actions, since any lost character stays dead, it often ends up just being annoying. Sometimes you just make one mistake or one miscalculation and one of your favorite characters ends up dying, and you have to either go on without them or start the entire battle all over again. And that kind of thing really kills the pacing, and makes an otherwise enjoyable game rather aggravating. In Vandal Hearts though, you only get a game over if you fail the mission objective or if Ash runs out of health. If any other character runs out of health, they simply retreat, and you can't use them anymore for the rest of the battle. After each battle is finished, you get a certain amount of money for each enemy you defeat, while funds are deducted for each character who got wiped out, presumably to pay for their medical bills. It's a neat system that does penalize you for letting characters get hurt, while also not being overly draconian or forcing you to start all over. Although if Ash dies, you do have to start over, which is annoying, but understandable since he's the main character. The presentation, story, characters, and gameplay are all very well done, and make this game a solid experience that every fan of Fire Emblem and SRPGs in general should definitely check out. But it does have its flaws. While the gameplay is good, it does get a touch repetitive. So if you don't like the combat system, you won't like this game, because that's what you'll be doing for a lot of the time. Also, while there is a nice variety of maps, environments, and mission objectives throughout the game, some maps have one and only one way to beat them, and if you try another strategy, you'll lose. Sometimes it's obvious what you need to do, but other times it's really not. Still, while it has its annoyances and imperfections, on the whole it's still a really solid experience with great gameplay, excellent characters, and a compelling storyline. And the visual style really complements both the gameplay and the story. It's not for everyone, but if you like SRPGs, you should definitely give this game a look. My final score is an 8 out of 10. Definitely an underappreciated gem for the PS1. So what do you think? Have you played Vandal Hearts? What's your favorite SRPG? Whatever you think, be sure to let me know in the comments below. If you like what I do, feel free to subscribe and follow me on Twitter. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.